Hello everyone. Today I'm together again with Sophie, and we are going to talk about organizing ourselves during the pandemic. Hello Sophie, thank
Hello,
you for
Magda.
your time.
Thank you, Magda. I'm really happy to connect with you today again. Fabulous.
Yeah. So Sophie, let's try to talk a little bit about organization of our lives during this difficult period. How do you have any tips to share with us? What works for you, for your family, or you've learned about some tips from other people that would like to share?
I'd love to share with you, Magdalena, because I think before we started on the recording, I shared with you the fact that organizing myself has always been a struggle. So I went into many books and learned from many friends, many colleagues and wonderful leaders. And therefore, today, this is what I think could work for, I would say an agile, so adaptable process at work, at home, and at school in a way. Because to me, it needs to be a lifelong learning way of going towards this organization subjects. It needs to be a journey called in Japanese kaizen, which is change for the better. Yeah. Because it needs to have a mindset of continuous improvement. So now I feel much better because I can improve, you see, Magdalena. So if I'm not right with my organization, it's all good. So for me, it's like a recipe. When you have a cake or something to create, you need to have, in a way, a balance or a well-balanced diet. It can't be too salty, too sugary, too greasy, or too much of this, too much of that. It needs to have a very important ingredient, which is, I think, a well-balanced meal, right, to cook. And this well-balanced meal starts with a contract at home, a contract at school. What is it that we need to do? What is it that we need to be? So how do we behave? How do we do it? And of course, it's all different for everyone. It's different according to your values, your identity, where you come from. But this needs to be the beginning, I think, of any time of I would say organization. And then you need the way you're going to organize your recipe. You need the method, right? Mm-hmm. And there's a way that I like, which actually comes from learning martial arts, which is called shuhari. And the shu is about, making sure that you follow the rules. So you can think about how you can organize your rules before you go on with the organization. And then you make sure you experiment, because you need to check whether it works or it doesn't work for you. And then you need to adapt it and change it again. There's a sentence that is going maybe to make you smile, but it says 1,000, I'm checking again because I didn't put it in my head, 1,000 mistakes are 1,000 opportunities to grow. And I think if you make a mistake in your organizational system, then you can always change it again, okay? And the heart, I think, of being agile doesn't actually come from me. It comes from the heart of agility. Agility, which is used in a lot of companies. The project management system in some companies, in a lot of companies for software and computer not topic, but field is using agile, the agile process. And in this agile process, what I like is that you have 4 steps to go. You've got to collaborate and exchange. You have to do, you've got to think, you've got to improve. So with all of this, with this method, then you have your recipe of success in a way, because you know that you have some good ingredients, healthy and balanced ingredients, and then you move forward to collaborate within the family, within the classroom, within your, your team. Now, this is what I do. So I'm going to make you smile. In my recipe, I've got some ingredients that I need. I need some Post-it notes. So I've got loads of Post-it notes. I love colors. You need, and you can have one color in your family for one child, for example. That could be interesting. If you don't want to do this, and I'll tell you why later on, it's okay too. Then you need a signboard. This is what I use. I don't know if you've heard of those static whiteboards. I don't know if you know them.
Yeah,
but those whiteboards are really good because you can organize them with
whatever you want,
some nice
right?
pens, so you've got some nice pens with colors, and you can write. So I like that. If you don't want to buy any of this, you can also use either some paintings, the paintings that your children have, since we're going at home right now, or you can buy some markers with liquid chalk, and you can do it on your windows. So it's going to be quite messy, but if you're okay with this, that's fine.
Okay.
So that's the second thing for your recipe that you need. You need a timer. You need a timer. This one is nothing special. I've got loads of different timers. You can have a timer that shows the time for your children, which is really good. This is excellent. Or you can have a send timer. And you need to, on your Post-it notes, you need to write or draw all the working tasks that you need to do.
Okay.
So for you could write. So you could say, I want to record a video. So you choose, to record a video. Let's say this is your nice color. You can do that. And then for example, you want to do it for your child, you draw something that he needs to do. Let's say he needs to read a book. So you can draw a book for him. And then you need, what is it that you need? No, not here. You need your, I would say, general tasks. So let's say cooking, you need to have it next to you, right? You need to write down exactly when you're going to cook. So you've got your working tasks, you've got your general tasks, and then there's something else that you need. You need some meeting times with your family. You need some times where you can meet up. When you can, let's say, maybe once a day at dinner time, you can spend about 5 minutes standing up in front of this board, this signboard, and you could say, hey, okay, how was this today? How did it work? But I'm going to tell you how it works though, because maybe you're thinking, what kind of board I'm talking about? So, so the board needs to have on one, so you have about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 columns.
Okay.
Those are the columns I've created, but you can do it differently. You know, my youngest child likes to have 3 columns. I'll share with you the 3 columns. We at home, for example, we have 1 signpost for each member of the family. So it's different. So we have 4 different colors for each post. This is for next time. So I've got on my big sign post, I've got my 5 columns. My first column is I would say the backlog, where you put your, where you put your general stuff, cooking, laundry and all of that.
Laundry, okay.
And you've got your Post-it notes and you've written all of this, so you can, put it on. And it says Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So we've got the weekdays to the left on the backlog. And then let's say it's Monday and you decide that you're going to do some laundry on Monday. You can put your little Post-it note on Monday, and it will be in your second column. It says to do. So you're kind of moving your Post-it notes in the first column called to do. Right? And then you've got a third column which says in progress. That means you're doing it. You're doing it now, So that way, if your children are like, Mommy, can I have some chocolate? Come on home, hold on, let's check the the board. And so they will maybe do it 5 times at the very beginning and bother you, but then little by little, they won't bother you because they will go to the board right away and check, oh, what is Mommy Magdalena doing? You know, what is she doing? And they will see that, well, you're working on your video, and then it will be in progress column. And then the 4th column is help. Because sometimes, you need some help on something. So it could be help on laundry. So then you put your little Post-it note on help. So this is you, pink. You've got a beautiful pink Post-it note, and you put your help Post-it note. And I've used it many times for Sunday. This is when, for example, at home on Sunday we vacuum and clean the house.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say help. So I would need who's going to help. So of course in the evening we organize it, and then my oldest son will say, so last week Simon helped me, my oldest son. So this week Isa will help me, you know, or my husband. Okay. And then we take turns. And then we feel good when we're at the last column because it's called done. And so we're done. And so the last column, it's like, you know, everything you've done, you put it right there so that you can see, what has been done. And, you know, with the little children, you can actually have a special reward zone, you know, it doesn't need to be something material, like, you know, something that will be, you know, some candies, or it could be time with Mommy to play a game, or it could be just reading some more books, you know, usually it's 30 minutes, let's have more than that, I don't know, but something that is rewarding for them. But there's something that has been difficult for me. 2 things, actually. One thing is to know precisely how much time I need every day.
Yeah, that was my question about time frame.
Yeah. So this is what I do. This Post-it note is 1 hour. If I cut this Post-it note in 2, it's
half an hour.
Minutes. Yeah.
Okay.
So this is what I've decided to do personally, but it could be 90 minutes. You could decide, you know, you could decide whatever you want. I've noticed that I like to have 45 minutes to 55 minutes frame. And it's been proven in neuroscience that you can actually have a time frame, especially for children, that can't be more than 50 minutes for certain children, and actually less for others. You can go to 90 minutes, maybe for adults. You know, it all depends on the age. I tend to say if your child, for example, is 6 years old, you add 2 and it makes 8 minutes to the time he needs. So of course you need to organize yourself with him or her, and let them be aware of how much time they're organizing themselves during a day. This is actually very valuable. It's an amazing, I think, gift to let your child experiment this time frame. I mean, if I had you know, that when I was younger, if I had known, I think I would have been more successful in terms of time management. To be honest, this is very mean, because in a way you need to grow as an adult too. But what is important is to let your child experiment, and then in the end you could say, oh sweetheart, so what do you want to continue? What do you want to stop? You know, what is it, something you'd like to start differently? So each time, every day or once a week, whenever you can, the more you have this feedback, the better. It's essential, because then they can see, oh, I thought I could do all of this, but I couldn't do it. For example, my 11-year-old child has a lot of difficulties in organizing himself within a time frame. It's hard for him. He loves doing many things at the same time, and he starts one thing and doesn't finish it. And so that's why I like this idea of column, because then he's got to move. He's got to move physically what he's doing, and what he's, you know, what he's not doing, what he's done and what he hasn't been done, and what has not been done. So this is more a concept, I think, that will enable anyone, okay, who needs to see, you know, their progression and needs to see how they progress. There's another problem that I've had for many years. It's about priority. You know, how do you prioritize what needs to be done? So I do it in two different ways. I check in my schedule, you know, that I have online. You can have an agenda, you know, paper agenda, or you can have an online agenda. But I check what has to be done precisely, let's say for tomorrow or for, you know, 2 days later. The time frame, if let's say if we are what, Friday, if I have to do something for Monday, this is my priority number one. This will go, I would say, in my to-do list. Okay, this will be very important. So this is, I think those two things, if you can organize them, then it works really well, because you can shift when, let's say you have a phone call and everything changes. Oh, everything changes. Okay, hold on. So I've got to look at my big schedule. I mean, the schedule that I've put in place, you know, on my wall or on my window. Okay, so I can't do this. All right, so let me organize it differently. Okay, how can I move from that day to another one? And then you exchange. And so every day, what is essential with the children, it's that you need to really show them that they have made progress. So what is it that you've improved? You know, what is it that you like? What is it that you could change? Was it more difficult for you to start in the morning? Okay, well, what about if you count, you know, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, go up, you know, like the little rocket. I think it's a wonderful lady who wrote a book about this, and I'm very sorry for her because I can't remember her name. This is too bad. But she actually was the one who says in this book, count like a rocket in your head. Imagine that you've got a rocket and get up off your bed and here we go. But the more you've got a projection, the more you know what you have to do and what you have done, the more motivating it's going to be. And if your mind, your brain sees the progress and sees what's been done, it feels good, you know. And then either you keep the pieces of paper, or you can throw them in the bin. Not very good for, you know, for the environment. But you've got to organize yourself in order to make sure that you are very flexible. You need to be adaptive today. And I mean, for me, it's been the best way, because I used to have long lists and I would to cross the long lists. And then I actually some months ago, because a beautiful friend said to me, what if you put the time next to the words, you know, what would you need to do? Well, yeah, okay, but then, you know, how do I do it? And so that's when I discovered this approach, which is a Kanban approach. I thought, that's exactly what I can put in place, because in a way it works for almost everybody in the family. And let's say you want your child who's quite young to read and he can't read without you. There's one thing that you could do. You could even record the book in advance for him. And then you can go beep, you know, and you'll say, when you hear mommy says beep, you can turn the page, you know, and then little by little you'll say, can you practice on your own? Okay, and mommy can see you after, you know, let's say 10 minutes, mommy can come and see you, and then we can do it together, you know, something like that. But the more you give space to yourself and to the child, but you can also be very aware of everybody's, with that, you know, process, you can be aware of what everybody does and what everybody needs, you know, at the time it needs it. And that's what I like about it. And yeah, I've used it over the summer.
And you can, what's important, as you said, that you can adapt it, you can change it, you can move things, and it's visual, so you can also see where you're not progressing. So if you have 5 things in progress, but nothing being done, Yeah, that's a sign. Okay, we need to check what's happening and maybe focus on some other stuff. So yeah, this is a great method. I have to try. I'm using a bit more linear because we like organizing according to time slots, because
Yes,
that
yes.
help us because of the also how we work as parents. So we know when we will have our like a calm time to work on things. So everyone, has to. But I like the flexibility. I have to check it out, definitely. So
And
thank
the
you.
reason why, you're welcome. And the reason why I was talking about the colors is because I use colors in a different way. But this is something we can talk about next time, because each color for me has a meaning, and therefore it has a meaning for everyone, and we've got the same language in the family. So if mommy is doing something in blue, they know what mommy is doing.
Okay.
Yeah, and especially in the learning process. So for example, now with my both my children, they'll say, "Oh mommy, I did a lot of blue today." So that's the I'm going forward with that idea, but it's a compass that I use, and we all use it in a different way. Well, my husband is the one who doesn't really want to use it, but it's okay. Again, we're open. So he uses his orange one, and he's fine with one, but it's all right, because that's the idea, is that everybody does it differently. And in fact, you could do it with time, because you, in the backlog, instead of
You
Monday,
can
Tuesday,
add, yeah, you
you
can
could
add
add.
time, definitely, to
And you
have the
can,
time.
yeah, absolutely, you can have the time, you can organize it the way you want it, in a way.
Okay, I will do my version. I will share it later on, so it's more graphic. We can see how it works.
Yeah, I could take some pictures too, so that you can see, because my son actually does to do,
In progress.
in progress, and done.
Yeah.
He's
Point.
yeah, and he doesn't like all the backlog and all of this. So we tend to have a backlog on general tasks in the kitchen, and we've got some
Okay.
little post-it notes, and then we take the post-it notes from the backlog from the kitchen, and I mean, this is a crazy system, so it's hard for me to show you, because I would have to show you around the house. But in a way, this is something, and then it makes it fun in a way. I mean, you remember how hard it was for me, and it's been for a long time. So I needed to find something that would be more fun in a way.
Mhm.
So this is how I do it. So we'll
Let's
see.
try it out. I will definitely give it a go and see how it works. And yeah, maybe adapt, but definitely,
Definitely.
yeah, I like to try new things. Why not, right?
Wonderful. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very
Thank
much.
you very much.